You know that feeling, right? Staring at a test timer, your heart just pounding with every single tick? Yeah, that pressure is real. And for the CELPIP exam, that clock can feel like your biggest enemy. But what if we could change that? And you know what? It's absolutely true. So often, the difference between a good score and a great score really just comes down to how you manage every single minute. In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how to turn that ticking clock from a source of anxiety into your personal pacer for success. We've got a really clear roadmap for you today. We'll kick things off by understanding the challenge itself. Then, we'll get into specific strategies for listening and reading, build a solid plan for writing, and wrap up with tips for a confident speaking performance. Ready to jump in? All right, let's get started. Okay, first things first. Before we can even think about managing the minutes, we need to know what the whole battlefield looks like. Getting that big picture view of the CELPIP General test is really the first step to mastering all the little details.
So the whole test is done in one shot, lasting just under 3 hours. But here's the really crucial detail. Once this section is over, it's over. You can't go back. That means your pacing within each part has to be totally spot on. There are no do-overs to review a previous section.
All right, let's tackle the first half of the test, listening and reading. Now, these sections are all about comprehension, but it can seriously feel like you're trying to sprint through a library, right? Let's figure out how to handle that. Okay, I want you to burn this number into your brain, 38. That's how many scored questions you're going to face in the listening section, and then you'll see another 38 in the reading section. Knowing your target is what helps you set your pace. Okay, so here's where things get really different. You absolutely cannot use the same strategy for both of these. For listening, that audio is a one-shot deal. It plays once, and that's it. So your notes are your lifeline, and you have to answer as you go. But reading? That's a different game. You have more flexibility. You can jump around between questions in a part, which means you can skim, grab the easy points first, and then circle back to the tougher questions later.
And here it is, the magic number for the listening section. After an audio clip is done playing, your goal is to spend about 30 seconds on each question. That pace is going to keep you right on track without feeling so rushed that you start making silly mistakes. If you practice this timing, I promise it'll become second nature.
Let's switch gears to the writing section. Now, 53 minutes for 2 tasks. It sounds like a lot of time, but trust me, it just vanishes. The key here isn't about writing faster. It's about thinking smarter by using a really solid plan.
So check this out. You get 27 minutes for the email and 26 for the survey response. It's almost a perfect 50-50 split. And what does that tell you? It tells you that you need a consistent game plan for both. There's really no room to borrow time from one task to use on the other.
Okay, this 3-step plan, this is your absolute lifeline for each writing task. I mean it, burn this into your memory. Do not just start writing. Take the first 4 to 5 minutes to plan your points. Then, you spend the big chunk of your time, about 18 to 20 minutes, actually writing. And the most critical step? Leaving 3 to 4 minutes at the end to review. That is where you're going to catch those small errors and really polish your response.
Look, the test gives you some awesome tools, so you've got to use them. Keep an eye on that on-screen word counter to make sure you're hitting that 150 to 200 word sweet spot. Think of the spell checker as your little safety net. Use it during that final review to catch any typos. And a little pro tip, just weaving in a couple of good transition words like moreover or however will instantly make your writing flow better and sound more polished.
And just like that, we're at the final sprint, the speaking section. Now this one, it's the shortest part of the exam, only about 15 minutes, but wow, it is the most intense, rapid-fire section of them all. Let's see how to nail it.
I mean, just look at this table. It really says it all, doesn't it? You get between just 30 and 60 seconds to prepare before you have to start talking. That is not a lot of time to think. The pace is just relentless, and the test just moves you from one task to the next automatically. So what on earth can you do in just 30 seconds? Well, a lot, actually. Don't even try to write full sentences. Instead, just jot down 3 or 4 keywords or ideas. So for a scene like this one, you could quickly note, waitress serving, men talking, daylight/windows. See? That gives you a mental map to follow the second the recording starts.
So, to really make the most of every second, remember these 4 keys. 1. Use that precious prep time to structure your thoughts, not to write a script. 2. Whenever you can, connect the prompt to your own life. It's just so much easier to talk about something you actually know. 3. Speak clearly and don't rush. Clarity always beats speed. And finally, use simple transition words like first, also, and finally to help guide your listener through your ideas.
Whew, okay. We've gone through a lot, right? We've broken down the timing for every single part of the CELPIP. So, what's the one big thing I really want you to take away from all this?
This right here is the mental shift you have to make. Stop seeing that timer as this big threat that's counting down to failure. Instead, start seeing it as a tool that's guiding you, keeping you on pace for every single question. When you learn to work with it, it becomes an incredible asset. Now, knowing these strategies is a great first step, but practice is what builds the confidence to actually use them when the pressure's on. The only way to make these pacing skills automatic is by doing timed mock tests. So the real question I'll leave you with is this: how will you use this blueprint to start practicing today?